And I want to tell you, we are going to be recording this, but I will tell you, this is a heavy activity-based workshop. So we are going to record this, and I'm going to do my best to make sure I'm pausing during the actual activities. So if you're watching this later, just take the time, pause the recording, do the activities that we're actually talking about while you're watching this. And then as a reminder, we have a regional YouTube channel. You could search on YouTube. You can just go to KW Carolinas region, and that's going to allow you to find all of our trainings, all of our recordings that we have there. So again, if you just go to YouTube and search for KW Carolinas region, you will see all of our trainings, as well as this one that will be up there soon. All right, so with that, you guys, we're going to get started. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to move a couple things around on my screen and then just get chat open so I can make sure that I have that, so I'm able to see anything that is going on. So bear with me while we just move some things around. And let me get chat open over here. I've got 2 screens over here. So if I'm over here, I'm not ignoring anybody. I'm just looking at chat over here to make sure we're good. All right. So this is the 201 Club workshop, which 201 plus really, and we'll talk about where that 201 comes from. But really, this is how it's possible to make $120,000 a year using KW Command in 4 easy steps. So just do me a favor, just by a raise of hands, because I can see a lot of you in training rooms, who would like to make $120,000 in 2023? Just raise your hand. We're watching, we're seeing who doesn't want to raise. Okay, so some of you don't. Oh, I see lots of people raising their hands. Okay, awesome. For those of you that are like, I'm already at that level, I'm already making that, let's talk about maybe some activities that we can do to potentially double that. And so this is really, we're going to give you guys today 4 easy steps that you can do on a daily basis to just drastically increase your income and use Command for your business. So just before we jump in, I know I've probably met a lot of you. I have the pleasure of working with so many of you and having conversations with a lot of you through the region. But on the off chance that we haven't met either virtually or in person, thank you guys for taking some time out of your day to spend some time with me. My name is Sydney Seymour. I have the absolute privilege of being the RTT, which is the Regional Technology Trainer for the Carolinas region. I've been with Keller Williams since 2010, which I absolutely cannot believe. I started after working in marketing and sales. I started as director of first impressions and really just worked my way up within the company. I'm a KWU approved instructor. I'm a labs advisor and just absolutely blessed every single day to work with 43 incredible market centers across our region and be able to consult with agents at a really high level. So let's go ahead and dig on in. So here's what we're going to cover today. And hopefully this sheet right here, you guys should have as printouts. For those of you that are following along at home, if some of you are there for some reason, we're just going to have you take some notes. So you won't have the printout, but we're just going to have you take some notes. I'll tell you exactly what we're doing. But anybody in the Market Center that doesn't have this printout, just find someone in the room in Market Center leadership, and they can make sure that you have this. There's 2 separate printouts that we're going to need for today. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today is the necessary threshold of contacts to kickstart your real estate business in any market. So just do me a favor, if somebody wants to unmute or if you want to drop it in chat, are you starting to see a little bit of a different market in your area? Anybody starting to see a little bit of a different market? Yeah. Okay, so we're seeing potentially like homes maybe staying on the market a little bit longer. Are we seeing maybe price changes where we didn't really see that before? Yeah, so we're starting to see that in some markets. I see like some of you are yes, some of you are somewhat. So we're starting to do that. What's really cool is what we're going to talk about today works in any market. So it doesn't matter if it's a shifting market. It doesn't matter if it suddenly becomes a buyer's market. It doesn't matter if 10 days from now, it's a luxury market, a listing market, a seller's market. Everything that we talk about today and the activities and everything that we're going to cover today will allow you to kickstart your real estate business in any market that we're experiencing. Then we're going to really dive into, with the model, which is over to the right, the 4 easy steps that it's going to take for you to get to $120,000 in GCI over the next year. We're going to talk about which smart plan you should be using and why you should be using that. And we're just going to really take the guesswork out of it for you guys and say, here's a great one, use it. Now, obviously, if you have your own that you're using or you want to kind of go down your own path, you're welcome to do that as well. But we're going to talk about the one that we recommend. And then we're going to talk about the daily activities that are really required to see this model work and how you can time block for them and just daily activities that you can do for that. So we're going to jump on in. I just want to pause for just a second and just see if I have any questions from anyone before we jump on in, or if anybody needs anything from me. Check chat real quick. It looks like we are good. Okay, you guys are good. All right, awesome. So bear with me 1 second. I'm just sharing a couple things with people that they requested. Okay, so let's jump on in. So what is the 201 Club? So we've talked a little bit about this, and you'll see we have 2 really snazzy badges that you guys can use on social media. This is an example of one of them. Once you've hit that 201 plus threshold, which is essentially that you have 201 contacts or more in your command database. So we've got this, which is like a really cute little marketing piece. We have another one. The protectors of these badges are your Market Center tech trainers. So as soon as you hit that 201 plus level, you want to definitely let your Market Center tech trainer know, and they can give you this fancy little badge that you'll have for yourself. So let's talk about the fact that success leaves clues. And a lot of you might have seen this graph before, and we're rounding up a little bit. So when we talk about $120,000, you'll see the numbers that we have on the next slide, but we didn't just pick this kind of out of this pie in the sky number of what you need to do to be able to get to potentially that income that you want. So right here is a graph, and I'm sure a lot of you have maybe seen these. I know leadership, if you've been on some of the growth calls, we've seen this a lot. So we're going to really break this down. So over on the left-hand side, as we can see, like running up the screen, we've got the number of associates. So we can see like that kind of caps right there at 50,000. Along the bottom, we have the number of contacts that are currently in command. And then running across the right-hand side of the screen, we have the GCI. So again, we have number of agents, we have number of contacts, and then we have GCI. And so if we look at this, really like this sweet spot that's right here, we can see that we have 30,446 associates in our company that have anywhere from 201 to 1,000 contacts in command. And then what do you guys see for that average GCI right there in the middle? Someone unmute and tell me the number that you see right there.
119,510.
119,510. Thank you so much. So again, we rounded that up to about $120,000. So we can see that this number of contacts, now it's not just we add a contact, it's a magic pill, it's 201, we just sit back and wait, right? There's activities, and we're going to talk about those in the daily activities and the habits. But what we can see on average is the number of contacts in command. Once we hit that 201, that average gross commission income hits that almost $120,000 right there. So we know that success leaves clues again. And so we can see based off the activities that the agents that have this number of contacts, the things that they are doing, we're able to see the income that they're producing at a really high level. We can see that. And then we can see that this is a sustainable business as well. Now we can see there's 30,446 associates. Does anybody want to guess how many cappers we have with our company? If you had to guess, and you can drop it in chat or you can unmute yourself. Anybody have a guess how many cappers we have with Keller Williams? Any guesses?
Would it be in the 30,000 category?
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So it's around $30,000 to $40,000 or 30 to 40,000 agents. Yes. So we're seeing, right, that the activities, the things that you're inputting, everything that you're doing, the activities are really, really allowing you to become a capper and make the income potentially that you want. So now that we know, okay, here's what I need to do, I'm able to follow the ones that have come before me. Let's talk about how we're really going to get there. So here's what I'd love for you guys to do in your room. I want you to take a little bit of a poll And so Market Center tech trainers or whoever's leading this class in the room, I'm curious to find out who prefers number one and who prefers number two. And we're gonna walk through what these are. This is just, it's interesting. It's like a little bit of a human experience. So there's two primary ways that we can get to the 201 threshold. One is we can import from any source and then we can clean it up later. So if you're a one, you're that person that's like, oh, I've got 5,000 contacts. I don't care that 10% of them are people that I don't even know. I don't care that the Domino's pizza delivery guy is in there. I don't care. I just want to take those contacts. I want to get them into command and I'm going to clean it up later. That's you as number one. If you are number two, you are like, no. I need it pretty. I need it with a bow. I need to know, like, I'm okay that I have 15 contacts in right now because I've got every single detail around that contact and I'm going to continue to add them slowly with the data that I want. So Market Center tech trainers or whoever's leading this in your class, take 2 minutes and I just want you to kind of get a gauge and share in chat. What are the vast majority of the people in your Market Center? So have people maybe raise up, I'm a 1, kind of take a number of that, I'm a 2, and then drop in chat. I'll give you guys about 2 minutes for this. Drop in chat kind of what it looks like if you guys are more of a 1 or more of a 2. I see some responses already coming in, so we'll give you maybe just about a minute for this. All right, so we're seeing, all right, so we're seeing we've got a lot of 1s. We do have a 2. Okay, so we're just seeing, I'm going to give you guys just a couple. 2 by far. Isn't this so interesting? It's such a little like human experiment that people are different with this. Okay, Greenville Upstate is like 50-50. Okay. And I know you guys, I know you're looking to the person next to you and you're like, you're a 1. You're insane. How can you live your life that way? You have to be a 2. How could you be a 1? I know that this is maybe starting some fights in the Market Center, which is not what my intention was. Okay. All right. You're going to leave this workshop being like, I'm a 1 and he's a 2 and I can't believe it. She's a 1, whatever it is. All right. So it is really kind of split, you guys. That's really, really interesting. Okay. So here's the thing though. It doesn't matter. Like whatever you are, I just encourage you to not be a getting ready to get ready, right? Has anybody ever experienced anybody in their life that's like a getting ready to get ready person? Yeah, I see some head nods, right? Sometimes that's me going to the gym, right? I can't go to the gym. I don't have the right shoes. And then the next day I'm like, I can't go to the gym. I need something else, right? So I encourage you, don't just be getting ready to get ready. You've recognized in yourself that I just want to do the whole import and then I want to clean it up. And I love the transparency. You guys, someone in the chat said, we do number 1 or we are more of a number 1, but we never clean it up. And so thank you for your honesty and your transparency there. And you're like, weird that I have 7 Sydneys in my database. How did that happen? So it's okay. Like understanding your human behavior is a part of this. And so whatever path you want to take is completely fine. I do want to let you guys know that there's a lot of you that are on here that maybe haven't really started to use command the way you want to, or maybe you're new to command, or maybe you used command previously. So if you're a number 1, or even if you're a number 2, but really if you're a number 1, I want you to write down 2 words for me, just in a notebook or handout or something like that. I just want you to write down import wizard. So if you are a number 1, I want you to write down import wizard. And the reason for that is because a few months ago, Keller Williams created a brand new way for you to import contacts into command, and it is an import wizard. So those of you that were with us like maybe months ago or tried to do an import and it had to be in this one file and you had to copy and you had to paste and it was just all this stuff, we no longer have to do that. There's an import wizard and it literally will say, we're detecting that this is a first name. Do you want to match this with your first name over here? So it really allows you to not have to do as much work on the import. It's a really, really easy process. All of your Market Center tech trainers are extremely well versed in that, and I'm sure would help you if you are a number 1, would really help you get in that. You can even add notes to each contact. You can tag them already. So it's really, really nice, but know that you do have that import wizard. So it's really a nice like heavy lift for you. So again, 1 or 2, you guys are all good in my book. I'm just excited to have you here. And I think it's important for you to know kind of how you operate and how you work, and then we can go from there. So let's talk about really like the best practices for this. And has anybody, and maybe I'll have you guys kind of take another gauge in your room for this, and then just drop a yes or no in chat. Has anybody in the room ever trained for like a 5K or a half marathon or a marathon? Just do me a favor, whoever's kind of monitoring the room, just drop a yes or no. Has anybody ever done that? Like if you had hands raised, yes, we've trained for a 5K. Yes, we've trained for some sort of half marathon, triathlon, whatever it might be. Yeah, a ton. Okay, this is a healthy, amazing group. Good for you guys. So I would imagine the most that I've ever done is a 5K. I will be honest with you with that. But I would imagine that if I said, okay, I want to do another 5K, I don't know that I would have the best success if I just woke up today and said, tomorrow I'm going to do a 5K. And I haven't run or done anything in months. I think that I would probably have a better success if I went daily. And even if I said, okay, today I'm just going to walk for 5 minutes. And then tomorrow I'm going to walk for 5 minutes and run for 1 minute. But you get what I'm saying here, right? Like it's the small daily activities that really make the big, big difference. And it's the same thing with your contacts. So step 1 of what we're going to do and what we're going to talk about today is we're just going to find the contacts and we're going to enter them into Command. And I think it's important that for us to go big and to really build that big business, we need to first go small. I do believe that 201 is an achievable number that anyone can reach. And again, we're not saying that this has to be done tomorrow. I believe that you probably have way more than 201 contacts in your phone, on social media, potentially in your email. So you have all of these people. It's just, are they really like in our true database? And so what does adding 5 people a day, 5 days a week look like to you? It's by really going small and doing those daily activities that we can potentially get to that 201. So just thinking again, like if 201 is kind of like a little bit of a mindset thing for you of like, I don't know 201 people, or I don't want to bother them. And we'll talk more about that. Like think of it, what does it look like if you add 2 people a day? What does it look like if you have 5 people a day? So it's the daily activities, we know that are really going to get you to that big, big number and then get you to the GCI that you want to be able to really live your life by design. So number 1, let's talk about finding contacts and entering them. We talked about 5 contacts a day, but I might have some people here that are like, nope, I just want to speed fast. I want to get to 201. Like I want to come January 1st out of the gates running. So what does 10 people added a day look like? 5 days a week. Or if we wanted to follow bold, what does 20 people a day look like? And here's the thing, you might say like, I just really need to ramp myself up. Maybe for the next 20 days, you're going to do 20 people a day. You're going to add 20 people a day to your database. And then you say, okay, now I'm going to really communicate systematically with those people and follow up with them. And now I'm going to add 5 people a day. But do you see, it's just building the habit. I think what would be really cool is maybe like in your market center to everybody start a 66-day challenge and say, we're going to have a challenge for everybody to add whatever their number is, right? And it's the 66-day club and you can be a part of that as well. So I think it's by doing the activities daily, right? That we get the results that we're really looking for. So we've talked about a couple of numbers. I'm going to give you guys a moment just for a second. For an activity here. And I'd love for you guys to maybe do this in groups, maybe with the people that are kind of sitting right around you. I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes because what I don't want you to do is just come up with a number that you think should be your number. But I want you to think, and in this handout, you'll see under activities, we've got step 1 is to find contacts and enter them. And what I want you to write down is how many people would you like to commit to adding daily? And again, this is your number. So I challenge you to maybe find like maybe a little bit of an accountability group around you of like, how many people do you feel like you could really add to Command daily for that? So I am going to pause the recording because I'd love for you guys to have just a little bit of a conversation around. All right. So do me a favor, Market Center tech trainers, whoever's leading this training in the Market Center, just do me a favor, like what, if we had to look at kind of an average number, what's kind of an average number of what people came up with for contacts that they're going to add daily? If you want to just drop that in chat, I'd love to see just kind of what we're thinking with that. Okay. 5 contacts. I see 10 contacts, 5. Okay. KW Central, you guys, is doubling down 5. And then they wrote every single day in all caps. So they are really coming to play. I'm just letting you guys know that. 5, 5, 5. Okay. So we tend to see we've got a lot of 5s. We did have some 10s in there. That's interesting. I noticed we don't have any 7s. 10 to 25 days a week. I love that. All 10s. 3, 5, and 10, 5 to 10. Love it. Okay. So it's the daily activities, right? So I would even challenge you. I think that sometimes you guys tell me if you've ever done this, you can drop a yes or no in chat. Sometimes we overestimate what we can do in a year and we underestimate what we can do in a day or a week or a month. And it's really the daily activities that are going to get us to where we need to go. That is something I heard on Peloton. That is not something that I just made up, but I think it is true, right? We're coming up to a new year and we have like these big like things, right? Of like, oh my gosh, we are going to lose X number of pounds, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that. And then suddenly like it's April and we're like, oh dear, I haven't done anything like that, right? So I think we can look at what we really need to do daily. And Hendersonville, I love that you came up with that. You guys did math. We know the path is in the math. Hendersonville wrote in chat, you guys, 12 contacts a day from now to the new year makes it 200 plus. So maybe you want to write that down, that if you had a challenge of 10, maybe you want to increase that a little bit to 12. But I think stick with this number. I want you, as we go through these activities that we continue to do, I want you to really think of that number. And again, like use the people that are around you as your accountability group. And maybe you even like, you've got some people that are in 5, some people that are 10, some people that are 12. So maybe we even create some little like communities of like, we're the 5 community and we're going to, have a text message chain. And every week we're going to say, how many contacts did you guys add? So just creating that sense of community might be really, really helpful for you guys. So thank you for taking the time to do that and to doing an activity something that you're going to commit to doing daily. So now let's talk about how we can find those contacts. And if you guys have been to Bold recently, there's a chance that you've already done this activity, but we are going to do it again. So we're going to talk about how we can find those 201 contacts. So we're going to do this Bold exercise together, but I want to walk through also some other areas. So we've got other small business owners. That's huge. Remember that you are your own independent business. And so thinking of who are some other independent businesses out there. We've got social media, we've got family and friends, we've got contacts that you might have in your phone, we've got contacts that you might have in your email that you haven't added yet. But I think sometimes so often we kind of forget about all the people that we have in our life because it's that 80-20 rule. It shows up in all areas of life, right? That, we spend time probably with our 20%. 80% of the time, but there's a whole other group of people that we could potentially reach out to. So we're going to do another activity. You guys that are in the training rooms together, I'm going to walk you guys through this, and I'm going to give you 7 minutes for this because this is a little bit of a lengthy exercise. So I'm going to give you 7 minutes. All of you should have a handout that looks like this. This is from Bold. It says, who do I already know that isn't in my database? And so it walks through, it's like just a slew of people. And it's like your dentist, your child's dentist, your doctor. So it's kind of like these things that are going to trigger these people. And then on the second screen, the second page of this is actually a list of all the 50 states. And it asks like, who do you know that maybe lives in a different state that you don't have as a referral partner? So I'm going to give you guys, so all the handouts, you guys, I see this in chat, are all in the marketing that I sent out. So in that whole Google Drive, there were 2 printouts. They're both labeled printout. This is in that. I'll be able to drop it in chat in just a moment as well. I just want to start the exercise for everybody. So I will give you guys about 7 minutes. I'm going to pause the recording. Market Center tech trainers, just go ahead and kind of walk around. And if people need help, and do this like quickly, I want you to really come up with as many people as you can. Again, 6 to 7 minutes. And then, oh, thanks, Monica, for dropping that. And then once that's done, you guys, I'm going to have you like, once you're like, gosh, there's nobody else I can come up with, I'm going to have you just add everybody up. So how many did you come up with? And I'd love to see the highest number of people that we come up with. So I'm going to, again, pause recording, and then we are going to get going. You guys have about 6 to 7 minutes. All right. We are at the end of time for that activity. So you guys go through and count how many people you came up with. I'll give you just a second, write that number at the bottom, and then Market Center Tech Trainers in your room. I want you to find out what the highest number was. So I'll give you guys just a minute, and then drop the highest number in chat. We'll make this a little bit of a competition to see what people came to. So let's see the highest number that we have. I'm just going to reshare my screen while we're working on that. I'm very excited to see these numbers, I have to tell you. So let's see what we're coming up with. All right, let me open up chat over here. We've got some coming in. 72, that's pretty incredible. So we've got 72. Someone writes very, very quickly in Greenville, upstate. 37. We've got 7. We've got 9. That's your daily, you guys. A lot of you were like, oh, we've got 5 a day or so. So you've done today. So you're done with that. 65. Wow, that's really impressive. 24. You guys are right there. 32, 26. These are incredible numbers. Now, my second follow-up. Is everybody that you wrote down in your command database? Yes or no? Is every single person that you wrote down? Oh, 80. Oh my gosh, university, you were holding out, and you are so far, you are the winner. So at 80, and that is someone who writes very, very quickly. My follow-up question. Oh, okay. As a team, 212, love that. Love that we're teamifying this a little bit. So my follow-up question, and MCTTs, I'd love for you to find this out in the room. Are all of these people in your command database? Yes or no? So are all of these people, okay, so we're getting some no's, Yeah, so I think so often we hear like, oh my gosh, I have to get to 201, or I don't have anybody in my database, or I don't know anybody, or whatever it is, right? Like, this is really showing us, okay, South Park came in, not yet, love it. So, but this is showing us like, you know, the people, right? So we know, and we have this large sphere, and these are people that literally, you guys, you could think of these people in 7 minutes. So I think sometimes there's a fear of like having these conversations with people that we don't know, or we don't have relationships with. I'm going to bet that you have relationships with them, because I gave you literally 7 minutes and they sprung to your mind. So I really encourage you, like, this is your sheet of phone calls over the next, days, weeks, depending on the number that you got to. Like, these are the people that I encourage you, number one, to add to your database, but number two, to have the conversations with, because they're so top of mind to you. I'm sure that they know you. I'm sure that they love you. I'm sure that they trust you. And so we need to make sure that we're communicating with them in a systematic way, so that when they think of real estate, they think of you, because you thought of them when you were asked all these questions. And so they're so top of mind to you. I want you to be so top of mind to them, so that when, someone calls your child's doctor and says, we're thinking of selling, who did you use to sell their house? They're like, oh my gosh, you've got to call Ross. He's the best person in the entire world. Here's his phone number. I would not trust anybody else with anybody else except for him. But we need to make sure that we're top of mind for that. So thank you guys for participating in that exercise. I hope that it was helpful. And I encourage you not to just take this sheet of paper and put it in a notebook and never look at it later until later, and then say, oh, I wonder what would have happened if I called those people. So I encourage you to really take this and continue the activities and get those people into your database. All right, so let's keep going. We're going to talk about starting with those that know you, like you, and trust you. And then we're going to talk about building it from there. So I put this list together, and over on the left are what I kind of consider like more organic people, meaning people that you might interact with and socialize with kind of on a day-to-day basis. Over on the right are people that are really like real estate specific, right? So let's go through this list together. So over on the left, we've got groups that you are associated with. We've got volunteer organizations, your kids' school, your gym, previous coworkers, or maybe current coworkers. I know we might have a lot of people that are dual career, previous buyers and sellers, your favorite restaurant locally, charity events that you go to. And this is, again, we could like, honestly, you guys, we could do an activity and it would take us hours to even come up with as many different kind of groups of people there. Over on the right, we've got for sale by owners, expired listings, maybe a first-time home buyer seminar, open houses, door knocking, circle prospecting, investors, and banks. So over on the left, we're going to think of this as like more organic, kind of your sphere, your SOI. Over on the right, we're going to think of this as more like lead gen. So these are people, like these are lead gen daily activities that we're going to have to do in real estate to be able to continue to add people to the database. I'm going to come back to this slide so that you have this to be able to look at. But what I want you to do as an activity is I want you to pick 3 of these groups and write them on your handout. So I'm going to go back to that slide in just a second, but I wanted to show you on your handout where you're going to do this. And I want you to start with the groups that you are the most comfortable with. And here's what I recommend. I recommend that you start with 2 groups on the left and 1 group on the right. So we're going to start with 2 SOI groups, and we're going to start with 1 lead generation group. And you're going to put those as those are my primary sources. So again, over on the left, we've got like SOI. Over on the right, we've got true like kind of real estate lead gen activities. I'm going to give you guys just a minute for this because I know this is something that you can do really, really quickly. So over on the left, we've got the 2 are the listings that are like more SOI. You're going to come up with 2 of those. And here's the thing, like you might look at this and say like, I don't have kids, so I'm probably going to not start with my kids' school. But you might say like, I'm really involved in this charity event. I love animals. And I volunteer my time quarterly at the local animal hospital or place. You might say over on the right, like, I really want to jump into open houses. Like it's something that I haven't done in the last year. It's something that I love. It's something that I'm comfortable with. And I really want to jump into that. But what I want you to do is really think, okay, what are the 2 on the left that I really want to focus on? And I want to make sure that every single person in that group knows that I am their local real estate agent. And then on the right, what's a lead gen activity that I want to do? And I want to make sure that every single person that comes to this open house or that I meet from door knocking or for sale by owner, that all of them think of me in the local real estate area. So I'll give you guys about 30 seconds to finish that up. I just want you to have this in your head, just kind of twirling around as we go through some additional activities that we're going to do. Whoever's leading this in the room, Market Center tech trainers, team leaders, productivity coaches, what I might do is look at what are the top lead generation activities that they want to focus on and build a really rock star class or panel around that, maybe in January or February, something like that. If we're seeing that like the vast majority of people want to do this type of lead gen, maybe that's an upcoming class or something that we do. All right, we're going to keep it moving. I think you guys have entered your 3. So again, on this handout, right where it says primary source 1, 2, and 3, we're going to write those groups of people that as what I want this to be for you is you're going to get to a certain point where you're going to think, I just don't know anybody else. And so when we get to that point, I want these to be those triggers of like, oh, that's right. The charity event. I didn't add everybody from that. Oh, that's right. I've been doing more open houses and I haven't gotten the contacts into command. So I want this to really trigger that for you. All right, now we're going to take some time. We're going to do another activity. So by a show of hands, actually MCTTs, I'm going to have you do this as another exercise because this is what I love. Okay. I'd love for you guys to kind of have an average in the room. We're going to pretend that every contact in your database could hit that 100% database health score, which it can, right? So we know by having these bullet points right here. So when I add a new contact, we know that if we have their first name and their last name, an email address, a phone number, a home address, a birthday, and a home anniversary, we know that we're like drastically increasing our 100% database health score, which is really impactful for you as the associate to have all the details that you know. I'm going to give you guys about a minute or so, and then I'm going to have you type it in chat. I want you to find out from everybody in the room. They had to kind of like rank themselves and then just figure out the average. Like if you were adding a contact and I just had their name and an email or a phone number, we're going to say that's like a 25%, right? That our score will be 25%. If we also have a home address, a birthday, all that, it's probably going to take it up to like 70%. So just take a second, you guys, Market Center Tech trainers, I'll give you about a minute for this and just find out from people in the room, what do you think your database health score is for your average contact? If you had to guess, like, is it a 20? Is it a 50? Is it a 70? Are you like, nope, I don't add it till I have 100%. I'm a number 2 from the beginning. So it's 100%. So I'll give you guys about 30 seconds to figure out just what's the average in the room. And once you have that, just drop that in chat for me. So once your average health score, and we'll talk about why this is important in just a minute. So I'll give you guys about 30 more seconds. And then you're just going to drop that in chat for me, Market Center Tech trainers or whoever is leading the call. So just put that health score in there once you guys have kind of decided as a group what you think your average is for that. All right, so we've got some coming in. Give you guys about 15, 20 seconds more just to see what we're looking like. New Bern is on the clock already with their answer. All right, so it looks like I'll give you guys about 15, 20 seconds more just because we have some more coming in and I want to see if we're kind of around the same here. We have some very exact numbers, which I'm loving that we're seeing really exact numbers there. So what we have coming in is we've got New Bern with 50 to 65%. We've also got Great Smokies with 50 to 65%. KW Central is 33%, nice round there. Kernersville is like me, 65-ish. Lake Norman is about 60 or plus. Let's see, we've got KW Real Estate Alice. Oh, we've got like some people individually. You're at about 50%. Great. KW1, 40 to 70. So there's kind of like a mixture there. That's great. Hendersonville is 30 to 40. Low Country is 50 to 65. Greenville Upstate is 70%. So that's pretty good. South Park, we've got, again, like a range of 49% to 80. We've got 50% from Valentine. We have someone with 73% in the Low Country. That's really impressive. Points East, 60 to 70. Greenville Upstate says we've got a lot of 2s in here. Okay, so we're saying like closer to 100 with that. Unified is at 62%. We've got 59%. Garner's 55. Concord Kannapolis is 50 to 75. So these are great numbers, you guys. I think we started talking about this 201 plus club. And I just think it's so vastly important that when we talk about adding contacts to your database, it is true like contacts, right? Like if I'm just adding someone and I'm just going to see who like if I'm adding Jen and I'm like, her name is Jen and I don't know her email and I'll just put a fake phone number. Like that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't do anything for me. I'm not even able to get in contact with her. So while, yes, we want to hit that 201, we really want to know that we're looking at quality of contacts versus quantity. Because when we add them and we're really tagging them the way that we need to, we have all of the important ways to communicate with them. We know that they have 2 kids. We know that they just got a puppy. We know their home address. Like it floors me that literally we sell properties for a living and we don't know where these people live, or we know and we don't have the details in there. So just taking the time and making sure that you're putting so much more than what you need to, right? Which is just first name, last name, and some sort of way to communicate with them, whether that's email, home address, or phone number. Really taking the time to build your data bank. You'll notice I've written that here, your data bank, not your database, is so, so important. So we have all of the pieces of information. So this is a really fun activity that we're going to do, you guys, and I'm going to urge you to really play along. I am going to give you, let's see, it's 1:54. I am going to give you about 8 minutes for this. So I'm going to give you a lot of time for this. And this is where you're actually going to make the phone calls. So here's what I want you to do. I want you guys to log into your command and you're going to look through your data bank and you're going to find at least one contact that you don't have all the email or all the information that you want for them. And it might be that you don't know their email address. It might be that you don't know their home address. It might be that you don't know their birthday. It might be this. Here's a tip. There's a reason, like there's a method for my madness. So there's a reason why I wanted to teach this so close to the holidays. You guys have the number one excuse to call people right now and make sure you have their accurate home address, which is I'm mailing out my holiday cards and I want to make sure I have the most up-to-date home address for you. Now, you have to actually then send out the cards. So just a note about that. If you call and ask for the address, we have to then actually send it. So I am going to give you guys about 7 to 8 minutes, and I want you to log into your command. This is the daily activities. You need to do this part. I want you to log into your command, and I want you to find at least one contact that you need details for. And it might be, again, their birthday, their home anniversary. You might have a lot of details for a lot of contacts. So maybe we can do this really quickly with like 3 or 5 contacts. And it might be a phone call. It might be you prefer to text them. It might be through social media. I don't care how you get in touch with them, but I'm going to give you 7 to 8 minutes to really build your data bank and gather as much information that you do not have for a contact. I'm going to pause the recording. I'll play a little bit of music. We've got 8 minutes. MCTTs, walk around. Feel free to answer any questions or share successes that you guys are getting. All right, so we took 7 minutes. It was actually more like 8 minutes for a cleanup. I'm going to have whoever's leading the workshop in the room just find out for me how many on average, like how many contacts were you guys able to clean up? So if one person was able to clean up 10 and one person was able to clean up 5, we would probably look at like 7. So just kind of figure out what's the average number of contacts that people were able to clean up in literally 8 minutes. And then once you have that, just drop that response for me in chat. I want to see just, again, I love to kind of like find out all this data. So it's more for my curiosity, and there's a method to my madness that I think you guys will see at the end. So let's just drop that in chat while we're just pulling everything up. Let's see, we've got 5 on average, about 16 as an entire group, 3, 5-ish. Okay, yeah, so we're honestly probably looking at like 60 to 90 seconds per contact to be able to clean them up. So 60 to 90 seconds to be able to go in and to look at that. Maybe 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, just depending on that. But here's the thing, if you guys took like 20 minutes a day and you went in and you gathered as much information as possible and we were building that, you would have the data, you would have the details, you would have the reasons why to reach out to them and to conversations to have with them. So again, if we're kind of like working back, we know that step 1 was to make sure that we have as many contacts as we would like to, and we know in our database. But then step 2 is we want to make sure that we're really building that data bank and that it is truly a bank. And so is it just a list of numbers and people that we don't know? So I think part of the daily activities has to be, yes, the lead generation, yes, the adding the contacts, and it also has to be taking maybe that 20 minutes and saying, now I'm going to clean up. And there's some really cool things and ways that you can do that. And we're going to go through that together when we really get into step 4. But I want you, like, maintenance is a part of this, right? So maintenance, like we talk about farming and really, like, if we were building a garden, we wouldn't just plant everything and get this really great harvest and then be like, I never did anything else to it and I don't know why it failed. It's the daily maintenance that's really going to set you up for success. So thank you guys again for participating. Thank you for doing that activity. And hopefully that was helpful of really what you can add and how you can add it and how easily you can add it. And we'll talk about some different ways to do that as well. So now that we've added the contacts, the question that I get so often is, how do I systematically follow up with the contacts that are in my database? And whoever's leading the class in the room, can we just get a yes or no kind of gauge from people? Has anybody ever gone to the Smart Plans library in Command and just felt overwhelmed? Yes or no? So has anybody gone to the Smart Plans library in Command and just felt kind of overwhelmed? Okay, yeah, we have like caps, we have 3 exclamation marks. So we have, okay, yeah, like absolutely, right? And I understand that we go to the library and we're like, oh my gosh, there's 1,200 of them, and this one has this many stars, and this one, and let me search by this, and nothing came up, and then what, right? And so then suddenly, like, okay, KW Central, it's smart and makes us feel stupid. That might be like the quote of the day, right? And you are not stupid. Please don't feel that way. It's just that it's kind of overwhelming and we don't know which ones to use. So I put one together for you. I would really like to take the guesswork out of this for you. I'm going to walk you through what it has, and then we're going to actually go through and we're going to do an activity of you adding this smart plan to your library. So we're going to do that together. We're not going to add anybody to this smart plan today because I want you to make sure that everybody that you're adding is who you want on it. I have suggestions of who you add, and we're going to talk about that, but I really wanted to take the guesswork out of it. And I urge you guys to get with your Market Center tech trainer because they might have also created some of these for you at a local level. So check with them, because I understand it's like, I don't know if this ever happens to you guys. This lets me know that I'm getting older, but like, I don't know. I used to go to the grocery store and there were like 4 types of chips. And now I go and there's like 400 types of chips. And I'm like, I don't know which one I want. I just want the one I always had. Sometimes I feel like we have so many options that, to your point, it's smart and makes us feel stupid. And that's not the intention. So I really wanted to take the guesswork out of this for you. So I'm going to show you how to find this, and then I'm going to give you an activity time to actually add it to your library. But let's talk about what this smart plan is. This smart plan is essentially 5 smart plans in one. And so by downloading the smart plan that I created, it's going to prompt you to download the others, and then you're going to be able to use them. So here's a breakdown of what it is. The first one is a bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. All that means is every 15 days via email, anybody that you add to this smart plan is going to get an automatic email of what's happening specifically in their area, as long as you have their home address. So remember, if we think back, we talked about why we need to have the data. We don't have their home address, it's not going to deploy that bi-weekly neighborhood nurture, and they're not going to get that data. So every 15 days, it's going to get a really beautiful email saying, here are the neighborhood trends in the neighborhoods you're interested in. Remember that we can do any neighborhood across the country, and we can add multiple neighborhoods to this. So for example, if you had someone that was selling in the Charleston area, and maybe they were moving to Atlanta, we could actually say, here's what's happening where you live currently, and here's some neighborhoods in Atlanta that you might also be interested in. Now, I did the bi-weekly neighborhood nurture because that allows us to have 24 touches automatically. If you feel like you'd rather pull that back a little bit and you'd like to do the monthly neighborhood nurture, you are more than welcome to download this and completely customize it and take out the bi-weekly and add the monthly, which would just be 12 touches. So know that that's completely up to you. The other step is the quarterly call plan. And this is really what cements the relationship. We know from the MREA book that we need to be running a 36 touch with every single person that we have in our database. We know that really the power of that 36 touch is in the 4 phone calls. We know that that's where it cements the relationship. It maintains the relationship. They think of us when they think of real estate. So the quarterly call plan is just that. It's a really nice reminder for you to call these people once a quarter. Now, here's the really cool thing about the quarterly call plan when we have it in the 36 touch here. What I highly recommend is when you add somebody to this 36 touch, it's going to ask you, do you want to start everybody today, or do you want to stagger the start? I highly recommend that you stagger the start, and here's why. If I had 201 contacts to this 36 touch and I add them all at the same time, 90 days from now, it's going to tell me that I need to call all 201 contacts in one day. And that is not going to happen. So that's where I want you to look back at that first step that we did together of how many people are you comfortable adding to your database every day. And that's probably going to be your call number as well. So I'm going to walk you through, but when it says, how would you like to add contacts to this? I highly recommend the stagger start. And we're going to come up with that number of the people that you'd like to call. This smart plan also adds the birthday smart plan to it, which is going to send out an automatic email. It's going to remind you of their birthday about 5 days before their actual birthday. So you have the time to send a handwritten note or to do something. It's going to add a home anniversary smart plan, which includes a touch task for you, as well as an email to them congratulating on being in their home for 1 more year. And then it's got some additional tasks in there, maybe just to reach out, have some social media prompts. And then there is a download my app smart plan that's in there as well. So literally, like, my plan, you guys, would be to go in and see, I don't have anybody on a smart plan, maybe like I'm going to throw everybody on this one because it's going to really allow me to stay top of mind. So let's talk about how we're actually going to add this smart plan to your library. And for that, I'm going to move over into a live environment in Command. And then I'm going to give you guys about 3 or 4 minutes to actually go in and search for this smart plan. So if we want to do it this way, maybe if you just want to watch first, and then I'll give you guys plenty of time to actually go in and add this to your library. And I know your Market Center tech trainers or whoever's leading this call, team leader, productivity coach is there as well and is happy to walk you guys through this. So what I did prior to the class is I just logged into my Command. And then anytime I'm in Command, if I'm not really familiar with these icons over here on the left, I can see what they are at any time by just clicking on that red icon. It kind of opens up that window for me. I'm going to go right here into Smart Plans. And then once I've gone into Smart Plans, if you don't currently have any Smart Plans in your library, that's completely fine. You'll see that this will just be like a blank space, and then we're going to add them to your library. So we're going to come right up here and we're going to search by library. And then right here, you'll notice we have this search section. We can search by the smart plan name. You could search by Carolinas because I named it 36 Touch Carolinas region. Or you can search by the author name, which might be the most difficult task that you'll have to do all of today, which is just spelling my name correctly. So my name is Sydney, and it is spelled C-Y-D-N-E. And so once you search, you'll notice any smart plans that I have published to the library will come up and will be available for you. I've got, it looks like 13 at this point, but we're going to scroll on down. And the one that you want to take a look at is the one that is called 36 Touch Carolinas region. And then I've just labeled it, it's to stay top of mind with your entire database with this 36 touch plan. It's a mixture of market updates, emails, text messages, and one-to-one task. I do have Twilio, which is the company that we use for automatic text messaging. If you don't have that or you don't want to use that, what I would recommend is you just remove those text steps and you just make it a task. And so then a task will come up that you need to text your entire database or the people that are on the smart plan. Completely up to you. So once we've gotten to this point, all you guys are going to do is just click on that add smart plan. And then it's going to tell you this is a bundled smart plan. It contains multiple plans. You need to download all of its contents to get started. So if you don't have currently like the birthday or the home anniversary, we would have to just download that one, and then we would be able to download the entire smart plan as it is. We'd be able to pull that in. So I'm going to give you guys just about maybe 3 or 4 minutes to be able to pull this in. So again, we're literally going to go to smart plans. We're going to go to library. You can search by my name. Market Center Tech Trainers, if you guys have a 36 touch plan that you have that you prefer to kind of recommend or something that you recommend they download, feel free to speak about that right now. I'll give you guys 2 to 3 minutes to be able to just pull that in. We just want to have this ready to go once we have all the data in our database and we're ready to add them. So again, you can just search by author name under library. Then it's called 36 Touch Carolinas region. And we're going to add that smart plan to our library. Give you guys about a minute or so for that. All right, so it looks like most people have added it. I feel like we're kind of at a point I'm seeing in chat that most people have added it. Again, we don't want smart plans to feel overwhelming. I'm sure your Market Center Tech Trainer could also advise you on additional smart plans to use in your business. So feel free to reach out to them as an absolutely amazing resource for that. We are not going to add contacts to the smart plan today because I have a feeling that you don't have all the data and all the details, and I don't want anybody to not receive what you want them to. However, I want to show you what I'm talking about with the stagger start. So what I've done is I went over to my contacts applet. So now I'm in my contacts of Command. And let's say that I have all 144 contacts and I want to add them to this smart plan. I'm going to click the box right up here and it tells me that I've then selected 144 contacts. I could just select 10, completely up to you. And then I'm going to come right here to select bulk action. And I'm going to come right down here where it says add to smart plan. And then any smart plan that you have currently in your library will come up as an option. I'm going to choose the 36 touch. And then you'll see I'm getting a lot of like, we're missing the phone number. So that's why like we want to make sure we have the data to be able to actually run it. I'm going to say it's fine though. I'm going to add them to the smart plan anyways. This is the one, if we have anything that's activity based, we really want to make sure we're picking this one. So you'll notice we're going to stagger the start over the next few days. And then it asks me, what's the maximum number of contacts per day? So this really comes into play when we talk about the phone calls. So I want you to think like, if I was adding 200 contacts to this, how many people would I be comfortable being able to maintain and keep up with having phone calls with? And that's probably not going to be 200. So again, maybe go back to that number that you had in the beginning of like, I'm committing to adding this many contacts every day. And I'm committing to having that many phone calls or making that many phone calls every day. And then once we hit confirm, it'll then run like clockwork and you'll have just the 7 a day and it'll just continue once we hit that quarterly call plan until we've made all of the phone calls. So again, we're not going to add contacts right now because I don't want you guys to have to come in later and clean it up and do all of that. For that. If you add contacts, missing emails, and then you update emails at a later time, will the emails on that smart plan go out then? They will. Yeah, so if we go in later and we add it at a later date, it'll then just update for that, correct? All right, so let's go in. We're almost done, you guys. We're at the home stretch of this. I appreciate you all being here. I hope your bellies aren't grumbling like mine is and you're really hungry. So we're going to keep it moving. We're going to go to the next slide. And this is, we're talking about step number 4. And here's what we have to do just a little bit here. Bear with me. I don't want you to be nervous about this, but we are going to have to check your command app daily. And we're going to talk about changing the behavior. And so here's what we really need to make sure that we're doing daily to make sure that you are building your business. We're going to open your command app. We're going to complete the tasks. We're going to maybe even use that to add contacts to the database and to make the phone calls. I love that. And we're going to add data to each contact. So I want you to know that this doesn't have to be done on your laptop. This can be done really, really easily through your phone at any time. So I am going to bear with me 1 second because I am going to change screens. And I'm going to actually pull up my command app. So let me just stop my share and I'm just going to reshare with my command app right here. Bear with me. And if you guys can just give me like a thumbs up if you're seeing my command app on your screen, if that's what you guys are seeing. Looks like on some screens I do see it. Okay, yes, awesome. Thank you guys so much for that. So here's where I encourage you really start to like spend your time. Number 1 is in the tasks, because as we start to run these smart plans, you'll notice that right up here, we're going to see the tasks that are due today. So we can literally come in every day, look at the tasks that are due and complete them. We can also look at leads and recently active. We're not going to touch that today, but down here, you'll notice because we're running that 36 touch smart plan, ideally we have birthdays and home anniversaries for everyone in our database, or we're working on that. It's going to tell you right here within the next 30 days who has an upcoming birthday. So we can literally see all of this like at a glance from the screen, complete the activities. So I'm going to come in and see what's due, and it tells me that it's some sort of text or test that I need to do. I can come up and I can see all of my call tasks directly right here, and then I could call directly through the app. And then what's an absolute game changer, I know a ton of you are using this already, is it's going to prompt you to add an activity to that. So you can then say, you know, I called Chris, we had a great conversation, we talked about whatever, and it automatically adds that note right there. So whoever's leading this class in the room, here's what I'd like for you to find out for me. And this is a safe space. We started the class by saying that. How many people are checking their command app daily? What percentage of people in your room are checking their command app daily? And I'll give you guys about 30 to 45 seconds to find out that response, and just drop your safe space response in chat so we can just see kind of like what we're looking at here. So what percentage of people in your room are looking at this daily? I'm going to just switch screens here real quick to get back. And let me pull up chat right over here to see what we've got going on. So we've got, you're going to grow this together. My gosh, I love that. Okay. 20%. That's an awesome place to start, you guys. 10%. Okay. About 20% again, 20%, about 30%, 20%, 10%. Most haven't been. Goose egg. That's okay. 0. If you're not recording 0, that's okay. I am recording and it's a safe space, you guys. Here's the thing, like, we have to know what's going on, right? So we have to know like what we need to be looking at. We need to be looking at that. So here's what I'm going to ask you guys to do. This is the final act. Oh, no, this is the second to last activity of the day. I'm going to give you about a minute and I want you to do 2 things. I want you to find the command app on your phone. Well, if you don't have it downloaded, that's the first thing I want you to do. And this is a safe space if you don't. If you do have it downloaded, I want you to find it on your phone and I want you to move it all the way to your home screen. I want you to move it next to, I have on here next to your native phone app, but I actually want you to move it next to your most used app. And this is a judgment-free zone. So if your most used app is like TikTok or Instagram or something like that, I don't care. I want you to move it right next to whatever is your most commonly used app. And I challenge you to open your command app before you open your most frequently used app starting tomorrow. So I want you to take the app. I want you to move it all the way over to your most frequently used app. And then I want you to do this. How many of you guys use your alarm on your phone for your wake up alarm? Just by like a raise of hands. Do a lot of you guys do that? I do. I'm sure a lot of us do as well. The thing that I want you to do is I want you to go in and I want you to set your alarm for tomorrow morning. I put 8 a.m. Maybe you wake up earlier, maybe you wake up later. I don't know. But I want your alarm, the label on it, I want you to make that check command mobile. So the first thing when you wake up tomorrow, I don't know how to do it on an Android. I'm sure that you can. On an iPhone, though, when you go in and create a new alarm, you can give it like a label. And I want you to name that check command. You can put command app, you can put command mobile, whatever you'd like to do. So I'd like for you to go in. Number 1, I want you to move the app. I want us to really change the behavior. And number 2, I want you to put check command mobile. Because here's the thing, you guys, if we're running the 36 touch and we need to be making the phone calls and we never look at the tasks to make the phone calls, like nothing matters. It's a tree that fell in the forest that nobody knows about. We have to do the activities and we have to check where the activities are coming up to be able to do that. And it's just so much significantly easier to actually do it through the app. So again, you're going to download the app if you haven't already. Your username and password are the same as your command login. And then we're going to take that app, we're going to move it over next to your most frequently used app, which you don't have to tell me what it is. And then we're going to set an alarm for tomorrow at whatever time you wake up. And the alarm is going to be named check command mobile. I actually think this could be a really fun 66-day challenge too, of like looking at, are we looking at our command app first thing in the morning? Is that the first thing that we're looking at before we look at anything else for 66 days straight? I think that could be really fun, something that we guys could do together. All right, so let's keep it moving. I don't want to keep you guys any longer than I have to. I want to end it with this. And then I do have one thing that I would love for you guys to do just for me. It's progress, not perfection. So we really started this workshop by saying like, we want to get 201 contacts in. It doesn't have to happen overnight. There's power in the data and doing it slowly. I just want you to think of like a day of not doing it is not how we want to start. So it's the progress of actually doing it rather than saying like, it has to be perfect, right? So many of you were the number ones of like, just get the database in and then we'll figure it out. So let's do that, you guys. It's so easy to do it. There's an import wizard, your MCTT, your Market Center leadership team wants to help you with that. It's daily progress, not perfection. That's going to get you to that GCI threshold. That's your goal for 2023. Here's what I would love to share. If you guys would just drop this in chat for me, if we can maybe find just some ahas. What's one thing that you learned today that you're going to put into practice immediately? So if you would love, maybe like take a little gauge of the class and just drop in chat, like what's the one thing that you guys like before you even leave the classroom, you're going to put that into practice. I'll wait for that to come in chat. And then I do have a favor. I have a big request. We want to make sure that we're delivering the most up-to-date relative workshops that you guys would like. in your market center. So if you can just do me a favor and scan this QR code, this is going to take you to kwueval.com. It's going to ask you a couple questions, and I put some of the responses or data that you'll need. The first question that it's going to ask you is, what region is it? Your Carolinas region. Then it's going to ask you, what type of class was it? Was it a market center or KWRI? This was for your region, and you can say that you joined virtually. And then it's going to ask you what the topic was. And we're going to say that the course was not in the dropdown, and we're just going to name this Club 201. And then the instructor is myself, Sydney Seymour. I believe that's alphabetical by first name. So I'm just going to leave this up. I would really, really, really appreciate if you guys, we definitely want to hear feedback and make sure we're just bringing you the most up to the date, relevant training that you guys need in your market. And while we're doing that, I'm just going to look over here. So we've got, okay, stagger start. Clean your database up. 36 touch was big. The contact memory jogger, I think that's huge. Like, I think that's something that could be done monthly, quarterly, right? We do it so often in bold, but why don't we continue to do it? Alarm check to check your command. Yeah, like, let's create the habit of it. 5 contacts a day. The command app is fantastic. And yes, it works at a really high level. 36 touch, love that. Small daily activities. Yeah, thank you, KW Charleston. It doesn't have to be this big, huge thing. It's daily activities by doing that daily. Collecting all the information, knowing the importance of the health score, figuring out how to get your database cleaned up, command app near your text app, using the touch plan, some really great stuff. I encourage you guys to really get a plan in place. Feel free to stay in your market center training room and maybe find those accountability groups and figure out what you guys really want to do. I appreciate you guys. Again, I know I said this, but literally, to be able to take an hour and a half out of your day, I don't take that lightly. I love working with all of you every single day, and I appreciate you being here. And it's just an absolute blessing to work with all of you every single day. So I'm going to stop talking and be quiet. I will leave this up for just a couple minutes. If you guys could please just do me a favor and scan that QR code. We'd love to hear your feedback. I'd really appreciate it. And thank you guys. If I don't see you, have an amazing holiday, and I appreciate all of you. Thanks guys for being here.